I am not a legal expert, and hence it's not desirable on my part to speak on the technicality of the Supreme Court judgment, the historic verdict on the age-old Ayodhya dispute. However, as a keen observer of socio-political life, I wish to share some of my views with you, the views that have emerged out of this moment. I am not here to speak whether the judgment is for the majority Hindu community, whether it is the most practical option possible given the situation of the country with heightened politics centered on religion and identity, or whether it is a balancing act. Well, as the judgment says, in the disputed site, the temple will be constructed and the Muslims will be given a separate 5-acre land in a prominent place at Ayodhya for building the mosque. I am not going into its technicalities, but I wish to speak of and share my two concerns, which I believe are extremely important given the present situation of the country. My first concern is about a deep anxiety. My anxiety is that given the situation of the country, I mean the dominant and mighty Hindu majoritarian politics, at this moment, is it that the judgment would further promote the proponents of majoritarian Hindutva politics to assert an aggressive ideology of cultural national narcissism and further marginalize, stigmatize the minorities, I mean the Muslim community? Would it be seen as yet another illustration of the victory of the majoritarian Hindutva politics, say the ongoing march, the abrogation of Article 370, a ban on triple talaq, and now a temple at the disputed site? This is something that worries me. It is something that worries me because it possibly poses a threat to the ideology of secularism and cultural pluralism. I am also worried about the fact that whether we are increasingly losing the empathy and sensitivity to understand the plight of the Muslim community, their pain, their fear, their ontological insecurity and existential anxiety in a situation of this kind. The second point that I wish to share with you is regarding the use of religion in public life. It is sad that today religion has been reduced into an ideology of group narcissism, a weapon of hatred and separation, and an ideology of cultural nationalism. As a result, what we witness today is that religion is further causing and erecting walls of separation. And these walls of separation can be seen today in India, for instance, in the violation of human rights in Kashmir, in the Citizen Amendment Bill, and the imposition of NRC in Assam. And my worry is that this wall of separation would further be erected if the majoritarian Hindutva politics sees this historic Supreme Court judgment as a victory for the triumphant Hindutva force and a weapon to further stigmatize and marginalize the minorities or the Muslim community. My worry is that we are passing through a time when, as a civilization, I feel that we are losing the true spirit of religiosity. Religiosity as love, as compassion, as fusion of origins, as togetherness. The kind of religiosity that Nanak, Kabir, Nijamuddin Aulia, Gandhi, Tagore, and Maulana Azad celebrated and talked about. And when the finer spirit of religiosity disappears and religion is being allowed to be used as a weapon of separation and hatred, we see the erection of the walls of separation. Hence, I am not very sure when Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks and compares the Day of Judgment with the historic day of the fall of Berlin Wall. I am not very sure whether we are really moving towards a moment of togetherness and fusion of origins, or whether we are creating a cultural milieu in which the minorities would further be stigmatized and we would live amid narcissistic, victorious, majoritarian religious nationalism and stigmatized, subjugated minorities. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity.